Hi, in this video discussion, you learn the beer management process. Beer, that means the brewing process. In this first part, you learn the basic terms related to the brewing process. Then, what are the raw materials and this all raw material, their specific roles. How to barley malt or the barley starch is converted into the simple sugar, and then how to simple sugar is converted to the alcohol. Then related to the brewing terms and its classification, what are the different of the beer, its containing alcohol percentage. These are the all points are discussed in the first part. The basic terms in the brewing process. The beer, that means it is a product made from the barley grain, in which the main barley grain as a raw material. Brewing, that means the process of manufacturing beer, is known as brewing process, in which malt, that means it is the germinated barley grain, is called as a malt. In the brewing process maybe use any cereal grain, but mostly near about 90% main as an ingredient barley grain, malted barley grain is used as a raw material. Then hops, the hops, these are the flowers of the hop plants which contribute specific characteristic bitterness taste to the final beer, in which wort, that means the whatever the malted barley, this malted barley extract, which is the main raw material, is called as a wort, that means the media in the brewing process. Then alcohol content in the brewing, in which the regular or the mild beer, it's containing alcohol by volume more than 0.5% to maximum 5% alcohol, and in a strong beer alcohol percentage which is the range of 5% to maximum 8%. These are the basic terms in the brewing process. The basic principle in the brewing process, in which beer, which is a product made from the malted barley grain, in which malted barley grain containing starch is converted into the simple sugar by the malting process, and then after that simple sugar is converted into the alcohol by the addition of yeast with the addition of the hops, and resulting we get the beer. In this basic principle you can see how the barley malt starch is converted into the wort, that is the media, and in which the wort is finally converted into the beer by addition of the yeast as a culture. You can see this is the barley grain, this barley grain is converted into the malt, then added with the hops, yeast, water and other cereal grain to adjust the protein to carbohydrate ratio, and finally we get the beer. In this basic principle, the main raw material in which barley grain containing starch, this starch is first converted into the malt, that means into the simple sugar by the enzymatic hydrolysis during the germination process, and after that this simple sugar is converted into the alcohol with the help of yeast, in which yeast is fermentation process is carried out. Additional, that is the hops is added for the specific characteristic bitterness taste to the final beer, and finally we get the beer. This is the basic principle in the beer manufacturing process. What are the main raw materials used in the brewing process? The main 5 material which are the most required to brewing processing. The main first, that is the barley grain, in which the malted barley grain, the barley grain as a main source of the carbohydrate for the alcoholic fermentation process. Barley grain, in which the number of the varieties, in which 2 row and the 6 row are the major varieties used in the brewing process. The barley grain as a main source of the carbohydrate which is used for the fermentation process. Then second, water. Water is required about 3 to 4 times of the barley grain to extract the whatever the soluble constituents in the barley grains by the addition of the water. Also, water also required for the processing of the cleaning of the equipments and processing, in which water which is added for the extraction of the malted barley grain for the production of the wort must require to lower hardness in the water. Then next one is the yeast as a main culture which is used for the brewing process. Yeast may be added as a Saccharomyces cerevisiae or maybe Saccharomyces carlsbergensis on the specific type of that beer. They may be added yeast in a pure form. Then next raw material, that is the hops. These are the flowers of the hop plants, mostly grown in the California and the Washingtons. Hops may be added in the dried flowers or maybe extract or maybe powder form, which providing the specific characteristic bitterness taste of the final beer, in which it's containing resins which are the extracted during the brew kettle boiling. And last one is the adjuncts. That means external carbohydrate sources is added with the maybe added with the raw material of the grits, flakes, malted flours or maybe starch powder from the other cereal grains. That means the corn, rice, sorghum, oats, etc. or maybe added with the liquid adjuncts like the sugar syrups, etc. The addition of the adjuncts for a specific to maintain the carbohydrate to protein ratio in order to get the final clear beer of the final product. These are the main raw materials required for the production of the brewing process. In the brewing process, why the adjuncts are added and what is meant by adjuncts? You can see in the main raw material barley grain, the barley grain in which containing the main part, that is the embryo, is called as a germ. Then this is the endosperm portion in which containing starch material, and outer, these are the containing main layer in which containing the bran which is called as in containing protein, and outer layer is the hull. The main proportion of the protein to carbohydrate ratio is very important, and this ratio is vary with respect to the varieties of the barley grain, in which the 6 row barley grain in which containing the more protein as compared to other grain, which is the affected the final quality of the beer with respect to the specific taste and the clarity of the beer, and also affect on the quality of the beer. In order to maintain the protein to carbohydrate ratio, additional carbohydrate must require to added in the form of other cereal grain, in which the added with the corn, rice, sorghum, oat, etc. This additional cereal grain addition is called as the addition of the adjuncts. Okay. Then next, this addition of the adjuncts, in which first they are separately cooked and added as per the requirement. Other ingredients required, in which first one is the chill proofing agent, in which protein hydrolyzing agents like the papain and the tannic acids, if added in the brewing, resulting whatever the beer which is the produce with the chill proofing ability, that means the beer is served very cool. Then second one is the reducing agent added as a potassium metabisulfate, act as a reducing agent in which the whatever the beer containing oxygen which is the separated, improve the quality of the beer. Then addition of the sugar and the sugar syrup as per the requirement, in which to adjust the sweetness to bitterness ratio as per the requirement of the final product. These are the other additional ingredients added in the brewing process. What are the different types of the beers available in the market? In which first, that is the low calorie or the light or the no carbohydrate beer. That means the beer must require to final containing whatever the free sugar containing is very less amount. That means sugar ratio is maintaining very less by the proper final fermentation, or does not added any external sugar into the final beer. Then mild beer and the strong beer as per their alcohol percentage, in which mild beer containing less than 5% and strong beer containing less than 8% 5 to 8% alcohol by volume percentage. Then sake beer, that is the beer is produced from the rice grain, in which the alcohol containing 14 to 70% is called as a sake beer. The next major main type, that is the ale beer and the lager beer. These are the main two types, in which ale beer, which is made by the top fermentation by the species of Saccharomyces cerevisiae, in which the Saccharomyces cerevisiae is grown on the top of that media and the fermentation process is carried out. And the lager beer, in which the bottom fermentation with the yeast strain of Saccharomyces carolinensis, that means Saccharomyces carolinensis grow at the bottom of the media and fermentation process continue. The next one is the port beer and the stout beer, as per the specific darkness color, in which the whatever the malted barley, they are properly roast to produce the darkness extract, and similar the production process as other beer. Non-alcoholic beer, that means the alcohol percentage is very less, which is maintained or which is produced by the whatever the beer is produced. After that they are distilled to remove the whatever the containing the alcohol percentage, and the alcohol percentage is reduced up to the 0.5%, and finally then properly packed and the pasteurization process is carried out. These are the some of the types of the beer. These are the references used for the preparation of this PowerPoint presentation. In this video discussion, you learn some of the basic terms, raw material, their role, and the types of the beer. In the next video discussion, you learn the malting process in the brewing process, and the third lecture, that is the beer manufacturing process. Thank you very much